Got the theme song going there. Well, it's extraordinarily late for a live stream, so I don't know if anyone will actually show up on here or not, but hey, we'll give it a go. I'll just be a real quick video tonight. Um, I've had just a really great weekend, but busy weekend, and I'm glad I have tomorrow off because I'm just gonna sleep in a little bit, hopefully. Well, my kids don't really let me sleep in anymore, but yeah, if I can get to bed early, I'll at least get some time to sleep. So I wanted to just, if you're watching this after the fact, maybe you're watching this tomorrow, something like that. There are some things happening in Kittanning as things begin to open back up, and I think there's some things that are exciting and some things that I think that we need to continue to just be aware of. You guys know that as a channel, I've laid out four distinct things that we're trying to accomplish for a project that we're calling Kittanning 300. And so as we go through Kittanning 300, we're trying to do these four things. Number one, eliminate blight in Kittanning Borough. And so that would be like houses that are, not in good condition. We are trying to get them into better condition or get them out of the hands of people that have these properties locked down and get them into the hands of someone that's going to do something positive with it. And so that's part of the mission. We have a really good handle on that, but the other ones, the second one is the issue of addiction, and so we're trying to. I think the measurable for that is to eliminate overdose deaths in Kittanning Borough. And so, if we can eliminate overdose deaths, I think that will be a really positive step as far as dealing with addiction. I think that is a little bit more difficult to kind of come up with a really tangible plan for. I think it needs a lot more people working together, those kinds of things. But we do have a plan. We're beginning to work it out. We were working it out faster before all of this pandemic stuff happened. And obviously, it's just been kind of completely on pause for 2 months. So we're now beginning to churn back into that. The third one that we're working on is filling up empty buildings downtown. And so, if we can fill up all the empty buildings with local business, that would be an extraordinary win for downtown Kittanning. So, working on that as well. And then the last one that's kind of ties all of them together is we want our local government to be more effective and be more efficient in their operation. And so, on all three of those fronts, we're trying to work with local government to make those things happen in a way that it won't have to be an outside group handling all of those things. It can be the borough having a actual systematic plan that they're working through. And certainly citizens should still be involved. I'm not saying that the city or the local government should be taking care of everyone. In fact, I think that's the opposite of what's effective. But the city should still be driving policy that is moving these metrics in the right direction. All that being said, some big things have happened in Kittanning here over the last month or so, and they have the potential to be really great, and they have the potential to be really bad. And I think that you guys should just be aware of it. If you're in Kittanning Borough, then you should, take a look at these decisions that are going to be made over the next couple months, and make sure that just make sure that you're aware. So the borough manager recently resigned. She was not from Kittanning. She was kind of there as a stopgap, I think, in the first place anyways, and so it wasn't super surprising that she's not there anymore. And I've heard there's a really great candidate, someone that I would be really happy with that would potentially be the borough manager to come in. Secondly, the codes enforcer, you guys know probably that situation. Tony Chiesa was the last one. There's a lot of people that were upset with him. A lot of stuff that I don't necessarily agree with, but that being said, he's not here anymore, and so now they're looking to hire someone else. There's a couple different candidates that are in that realm. My ask of you is that you would be involved and engaged with that if you know some people that um, are on council or that have other people that are in positions at the city borough or that at Kittanning Borough, then I would just make sure that you're talking to them and voicing your opinion. Find out about the candidates. See if you can just make sure that we are moving the ball forward. I think it would be it will set all of the goals back if you don't have a codes enforcer that is active and engaged. And it will also, the borough manager, that position has the potential to really speed up a lot of different things if they could get grant money, if they could bring efficiencies to our different local government groups, if they could coordinate things between the county and the borough and the state and the borough. There's just and local business and the borough and the citizens and the borough. That was kind of missing from the last group. From my understanding, set up some systems and they walked into a really bad situation, to be frank. But they weren't. It was just different. They weren't intimately connected into borough business, like I think that a borough manager should be to be really effective. And so those are just a couple things that I think we need to be paying attention to. That being said, we're moving forward with Summer Serve, and so Summer Serve, we will be going out this week, and we will be checking out. Well, we've already checked out all the houses, but we're going to try to get projects lined up. And so, what Summer Serve is going to look like this year is probably going to be a little bit different. It's probably going to be less projects or less days, same amount of projects. And so, we'll try to run bigger crews in multiple different locations. And so, instead of maybe painting a porch on a house, this time we might try to paint 3 porches on a day. And instead of just doing yards one day, we'll do yards and 2 pressure washing jobs and a painting job. And so we'll try to coordinate bigger days of projects like that. And we'll also hopefully as a church hopefully we'll have an outreach team that will also be there to kind of serve the people that are out serving and also be an outreach into the community and just showing love in a really practical way. And so we're working on plans for all of that stuff right now. Summer Serve might be bumped back a week or two. We may not start first week in June like we would normally do, we may if we can get the projects lined up early to middle of this week. Then I don't see any problem with being able to do first week of June. But we're going to just continue to move forward, and if it ends up being smaller this year, then it ends up being smaller. But I really just believe that this is going to be a period of restoration and a period of acceleration. So, just what I've experienced in my own life is that when there's a time where things don't work out the way that you think that they're going to, then God normally has in the coming weeks and months a time where things are going to go faster than you thought that they ever could. And I think that's what I feel like that's what we're entering into. And I hope that all of you guys watching this and other people in Kittanning, if you wouldn't mind sharing this around, we're going to need as many people on board as possible if we're going to accomplish the same level of effectiveness in the future that we've had in the past, especially this past year, which was just a really, really great year. There's some other things happening as well. I believe that individuals are taking more responsibility for their properties. And so what I want to just commend people on is we want to really see ultimately people investing into their own properties. And I think there's been a lot of time in the past where people have been afraid to do that because when they're looking at Kittanning, they're saying, is this a town that I want to invest in? Is this a town where I want to be long term, that I want to really invest in my home and continue to lay down deep roots here? I think for a long time, what a lot of people have done is they've bought in Kittanning Borough because it was cheap. And so they said, well, I'll be here. We'll do the minimum amount that it takes to make the house livable. And then we'll save up money. And once we've saved up enough money, then we'll move out to somewhere else where we actually want to be. And what I think we're going to see, and I'm hoping we're seeing a shift on already, is people are saying, Well, I see some positive things happening around here, and so we've saved up this money to buy another place, but we could just fix up the place that we have. And so I'm hoping more people will continue to make that choice, make that decision. And if they're not going to stay in Kittanning, then at least they want to stay kind of in the sphere of Kittanning like we did as a family. They want to stay close in Armstrong County and maybe purchase a house that needs to be fixed up out of town, or purchase or build a house. I mean, that would be the ultimate, is if we would see people begin to build houses, and you can see then the tax base hopefully begin to come down. Right now, you really get punished for building a new house. Well, you get rewarded in the beginning, but 10 years later, you are getting really punished for building in Armstrong County versus Butler, Indiana, um, other counties that are local to us, especially Butler. Butler's probably the biggest competition when it comes to house building. So those are some things that are happening. I'm going to jump off of here. I haven't even looked at your guys' comments. I appreciate you guys being here and connecting to this. I knew there wouldn't be a whole lot of people, but if you're watching this, like I said, after the fact, and you wouldn't mind sharing it around, number one, just get people aware that there's going to be a hire pretty soon on a borough manager probably and a codes enforcer. We need to make sure that those things move forward. If you know any council people, those decisions need to be made, and they need to be made quickly. They've been mulling it over for like 6 months at this point for a couple of those things, and so yeah, I mean the borough manager hasn't been that long, but the codes officer has been 6 months at this point, and we're entering into a season with grass and garbage and all those kinds of things where codes enforcement becomes very, very important. If it's lax, it's not going to be good. And then secondly, if you can share this around so that people will connect with Summer Serve, connect with Habitat for Humanity, connect with whoever they want to connect with in order to continue to make progress on these different goals that we have in the borough. That's it, you guys. Really appreciate. Well, let me just look at comments real quick. I'll just take a look, see if there's anything I need to respond to. Paul's here, Kelly's here. Meatloaf says late. Yeah, I know, I'm super late. Sorry, you guys. My apologies. I just beat. I'm just so tired. Paul says, I know people who need help with a house. If you can send me their address, Paul, I'd be happy to go take a look at it. All sounds like an amazing job. Will help any way I can. Thank you, Melissa. Really appreciate that. Meatloaf says everybody's boring. It's awesome. Melissa says, amazing sermon, amazing worship this morning. I had a good time today. I really enjoyed preaching as well. Although I didn't have a timer, I think I went long again, but it is what it is. Let's see here. Wonder why people name their kids Ronaldo. I think that's like more like a Hispanic culture name. I know a lot of Ronaldos, but it's mostly in Spanish-speaking countries. So that's probably why, because they're Hispanic. Paul says, you guys do so much good work. Yeah, there's a lot of people doing good stuff, but yeah, hopefully we can trying to get the ball rolling again. It's been great, honestly, to have the time off, but I also don't want to see these things fall to the wayside. And I know if we stay stagnant for too much longer, we won't make progress. It'll just make it to it'll go by the wayside, and it'll become like so many other things in Kittanning history where someone had a good idea, but then they don't move forward with it, and it doesn't go anywhere. I don't want to be that guy. I want my legacy in Kittanning to be, hey, he said he was going to do something and he did it. And so I don't want to give up. I want to keep going, and I hope you guys are on board with that as well. All right. Melissa says, good night. God bless. Meatloaf says, I'll become a firework and blast away, I guess. Love it. Tim made it through a second heart operation this week. Glad you're still here. I'm glad you're still here, my friend. That is awesome. Congratulations. We're praying for a speedy recovery for you, my friend. glad you could make it on here so late and connect. Although I guess you're 2 hours behind us, so it's only almost 9 o'clock where you're at, if I'm doing my math right. But love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Hope you have a wonderful Memorial Day tomorrow. I know I'm looking forward to it, if for nothing else than just to sleep. And but I really appreciate you guys, honestly, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. And I'll see you in a couple videos here this week for sure. All right. Have a good night. God bless.